Mark Green, Congressman, hope you're doing well today.
Doing great, Todd. Thanks for having me on.
You know, Congressman, a lot going on at the border, and you've really been at the forefront of this fight, leading the charge. H.R. 2, everybody's talking about. We just had a Congressman Ron Estes on a couple of days ago from Kansas talking about H.R. 2. First, congratulations for getting this legislation passed through the House, and it really is a landmark piece of legislation.
Yeah, it's the most conservative and probably without doubt, the strongest border security legislation. It's not immigration reform. That'll come after we secure the border. A lot of people are, well, why aren't you dealing with this and that and the other thing? But you have to secure the border first, and then you can deal with the other stuff. We can't create more incentive until we seal that border. So this focuses on the people, the technology, and the infrastructure to do just that, and it gets rid of some of the incentives and returns some of the disincentives that this administration have just thrown out, ignored the law and thrown it out in the garbage. So we're going to bring all that back.
Congressman, I think it's important for people here in the Mid-South to understand that even though we are not on the border, this is impacting us, and we've certainly seen the airplanes landing in Chattanooga at the airport there. This is a big deal for all of the states, including Tennessee.
Yeah, every state is now a border state, and it happens in a number of ways. One, the federal government itself ships tons of people, and when I mean tons, busloads. I was actually at a Knoxville gas station driving home from D.C., and 3 busloads of Venezuelans pulled up and were just dropped. And so it's the federal government that's doing it. Of course, Texas has had enough, and so they're sending folks mostly to blue states to make a point. But and then you have people that just get released that find their way to Tennessee. In addition to not only the mass waves of people that then have to be, kids are in schools, social services get exhausted, hospital ERs get backed up without payment for the services provided. You also get the nefarious stuff, because what's happened with the open border is the drug cartels have seized the opportunity. They're overwhelming the Border Patrol at crossing sites with coyote-paid people. And then when CBP is preoccupied, they send all the fentanyl in. The fentanyl deaths in Tennessee have skyrocketed, increased 50% year over year. I mean, that's insane. That's America. That's Tennesseans who are harmed by this open border. I've talked to Angel moms who had children killed in car accidents by the illegals that don't have driver's license. A 15-year-old the other day in Robertson County got arrested for a DUI, and not legal to drive in Tennessee, and not legal to drink in Tennessee. But so there's a downstream financial cost, and there's a huge human cost even in our state.
Congressman Ben here, just curious, do you think this will get some Democratic support as you look forward to sending this over to the Senate? I mean, when you look at the legislation, it seems pretty common sense. I mean, increase the number of Border Patrol agents, provide bonus pay. This one, strengthen current law to protect unaccompanied children from human trafficking. To me, that just seems like common sense.
Well, everything that this administration has done since taking office, repealing 89 effective policies, things like that, has had no common sense associated with it. So asking these guys to then turn around and function with a degree of common sense is a bit of tragically an uphill fight. But, I think as Title 42 ends, and we did this on the same day as Title 42, we passed it on the same day that Title 42 ended. I think the American people, the barometer can rise, the temperature can rise and put pressure on the administration. And let me give you an example. The D.C. crime bill. So in Washington, D.C., which the United States Congress has oversight of because it's not a state, they passed, the local government passed a resolution basically, taking away all incarceration of violent criminals. And the Congress said, not on our watch. And so we passed the bill. The president said, I'll veto it. The Senate said, we'll never pass it. The the American people got really loud about it, and the Senate actually voted for the bill, and the president signed it into law. It's also interesting on the debt ceiling. You know, Biden has ignored the speaker for a number of really weeks, 98, 99 days before he finally came to the table to negotiate. But again, the pressure on him from the American people, 74% of Americans say that the president should get in here and negotiate. Well, guess what? He's at the table now. So I'm hopeful that because Title 42, you know, at least one of the upsides will be there's more awareness of the people coming in and the truth is getting out about what's happening at the border. Hopefully there'll be pressure on the U.S. Senate. Someone will pass a version of the bill and we can meet in conference and come up with a compromise that'll go to the president and be signed. I don't, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm, 90% hopeful, but I have some degree of hope. Now, hope isn't a method, right, as one business leader once said. So, we're pushing the Senate. There's some ads being taken out by not-for-profits and things like that are pushing the message and trying to educate the American people. So all that's going on. But yeah, I mean, there is some degree of hope.
Wanted to get your reaction to Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. So he sits down with CNN on Sunday, and he was asked about the criticism he's getting, not just from Republicans like yourself, but also Democrats. Here's his response to the question. Take a listen.
Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego said, quote, federal agencies have had time to plan, but their efforts have fallen short. How do you respond to him and some other Democrats who say that you've fallen short?
I would respectfully disagree. We have been planning for months and months, over a year and a half. We have surged resources, asylum officers, Border Patrol agents, processing coordinators to do the data entry work so our Border Patrol agents can be out in the field. We've expanded our holding capacity in Border Patrol stations. We've added beds to Immigration and Customs Enforcement in our detention facilities. We've increased our transportation resources, the number of flights, removal flights with our foreign partners. We're setting up regional processing centers now. It's extraordinary what we've done over the past 18 months or so.
It kind of sounds like when he sat down in front of you and said he had operational control over the southern border.
Yeah, no, excellent point. The man lied to Congress under oath. I clearly showed that the last time he came before our committee. Look, everything that the administration is doing is designed to speed people into the country with their automatic parole. And they announced at the beginning of the week before Title 42 ended that they were going to just release people without court dates. Fortunately, thank God, a judge in Florida said, heck no, and that got undone. But I checked with the ICE detention bed companies, and their numbers have not increased, despite the fact that last week we saw more people come into the United States than ever in history. So Mr. Mayorkas is not a truthful individual. We'll leave it at that. I'll be somewhat respectful.
Well, yeah, very respectful. Real quick before we let you go, do you anticipate him being impeached by the Congress, or at least by the House?
I don't have, my committee doesn't have jurisdiction for impeachment. But what we're going to do and what we're planning, and I think I've put this out in the news, we've got 5 phases of accountability that we're gonna execute here over the next few months and shine a light on the failures of this secretary. Failures to follow the law, absolute disregard for the laws written and passed by Congress. We're going to look at the human costs of this tragedy. We're going to look at the financial costs of the country. You take Tennessee, for example. When a child is born addicted to fentanyl, the state oftentimes winds up taking care of and paying for that child's care. And the state told me that it costs about $1.6 million per fentanyl-addicted child over the course of that child's lifetime, in addition to whatever else it costs to take care of someone. So that $1.6 million is multiplied times the number of fentanyl babies, and I've been told it's as high as 40,000. So that's a huge number. That's a huge number for the state of Tennessee to bear, and that's one state, and that's one form of the financial costs of this, in addition to the human cost. We're also going to look at the cartel crime stuff. And we've had a few people come and tell us there might be some fraud going on, so we're going to look into that too. And then we'll package all that up and hand it off to Jim Jordan over in Judiciary, and if he can get an impeachment, hopefully he will.
All right. Well, Congressman, we're going to leave it there. Always appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us over in West Tennessee.
Thanks, Todd.